Hello and welcome. Have you ever had that feeling? You're listening to a native English speaker and it just sounds like the words are flying by in a total blur? Well, let's get into it because today we are going to crack the code on why spoken American English can sound so darn fast and how you can finally tune your ear to its unique rhythm.
You know, this is one of the most common questions from English learners. You've spent all this time studying the vocabulary, you know the grammar, but when you actually listen, it feels like entire words just vanish. So what's the deal? Are people just being lazy? Are they talking too fast? Well, the answer is actually way more interesting than that, and it's probably not what you think.
Okay, just look at this sentence. In a textbook, you learn to say it like this. I have got to go to the store, right? Super clear. But in real life, what you're going to hear is something like, I've got to go to the store. See, this isn't a mistake. It's a feature, not a bug. And understanding that transformation, that's the key to this whole puzzle.
So to really get this, we've got to talk about something you might not expect, music. Because deep down, spoken American English has its own special kind of music. It is all about the rhythm. And this is the first, and maybe the most important secret we need to unlock. It's going to change how you listen, from hearing word by word to hearing beat by beat. All right, so here's the secret sauce. English is what linguists call a stressed timed language. But what on earth does that mean? Well, think of it like a drum beat. Certain words or parts of words get a really strong, clear beat. And all the other little syllables have to rush and squeeze themselves in between those main beats. This is what creates that signature, kind of bouncy flow of American English.
Now this is where it gets super interesting, especially if your first language is something like French or Spanish. See, those languages are syllable timed. They're more like a metronome. Every single syllable gets about the same amount of time. Da-da-da-da-da. English, on the other hand, is all about that powerful, spaced-out drum beat. Da-da-da-da-da. And that difference is a huge reason why the rhythm can feel so strange at first. Okay, let's actually try this out. Listen for the beat in this sentence. I bought a car on Tuesday. Can you hear it? Da-da-da-da-da. The important words, I, car, and Tuesday, they land right on that beat. And the little words in between, like bought and on, they get all smushed and spoken really fast just to keep that rhythm going.
So if we're constantly squeezing and rushing through all those unstressed syllables to keep the beat, what happens to the actual sounds inside of them? Well, they have to adapt. They literally change their shape. But, and this is the cool part, they do it in very predictable ways.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of it. These changes, they aren't lazy at all. They're actually incredibly efficient. They are shortcuts that let our speech flow smoothly and maintain that rhythm. You can think of it like walking, right? You don't take one full step, stop, then take the next. Your movements overlap to be smooth and efficient. Speech works the exact same way. All right, I'm about to let you in on the single most common sound in the entire English language, a sound you probably never even learned about in school. It's called the schwa. Basically, when a vowel isn't stressed, it often gets weak and lazy and relaxes into this super neutral sound, like the A in about or sofa. That little sound is everywhere, all because of this thing called vowel reduction.
And this happens all the time, even inside the same family of words. So take the word photograph. That first O is really clear, right? Pho. But when the stress moves in the word photography, that same O just reduces to a weak little schwa sound. Same thing happens with Canada versus Canadian. It all just depends on where that beat falls.
And this whole idea of reduction, well, it's the exact reason for some of the most common shortcuts you hear every single day. For instance, when going to gets squeezed between the beats of a sentence, its vowels reduce, the sounds all blend together, and it just naturally smooths out to become gonna.
And it's the same deal with wanna. The rhythm of the sentence squishes it all together, and bam, it becomes wanna.
And of course, got to becomes gotta. Seriously, once you start training your ear just for these three, gonna, wanta, and gotta, you are going to realize you hear them absolutely everywhere in natural speech.
Okay, let's talk about another massive sound change. This one's a biggie. It's called the American flap. So when a T sound, or sometimes a D, is trapped between two vowel sounds, Americans very often don't say a hard, sharp T sound. Instead, the tongue just quickly flaps against the roof of the mouth, and it makes a sound that's super close to a really fast D. And this is where it can get really, really tricky for listeners. Because of this flap sound, words that are spelled completely differently can end up sounding exactly the same. So writing and riding, they become identical. Ladder sounds just like ladder.
Suddenly context becomes everything, because the sound alone isn't going to give you the answer. Okay, one more key piece to this musical puzzle is linking. Instead of having these hard stops between every single word, we connect them. Specifically, when one word ends in a consonant sound and the very next word starts with a vowel sound, we just pull that consonant over and stick it to the beginning of the next word. It's like building a little sound bridge.
And the result is, well, it's a complete transformation. You take three separate words, what is it, and they blend together into one single smooth sound, what is it? The T in what flaps and links to is. The S in is links to it. It becomes one continuous flow of sound, and it's all driven by the music of the language.
Okay, so we've just gone pretty deep on rhythm and reductions and flaps, but you're probably asking, so what? How does knowing all of this linguistic stuff actually help you understand real spoken English and maybe even speak more fluently yourself? I absolutely love this quote from the educator Kristen Lems because it just perfectly captures that aha moment. You know, when learners finally understand these concepts, it's like a light bulb goes off. All those confusing, mushy sounds suddenly click into place. They realize they weren't hearing weird new words. They were hearing words they already knew, just performed with the natural music of English. So, are you ready to start training your ear for this music? Here are 3 incredibly powerful techniques you can start using today. Shadowing is amazing for just internalizing the overall rhythm and melody. Mirroring lets you zoom in on one specific sound change at a time. And close exercises, they're fantastic for training your brain to actually catch these fast, reduced forms as they fly by. And here's the thing. This isn't just about listening. Understanding all these principles can also make you a much clearer communicator, whether English is your first language or your 10th. It's really a two-way street. The real key is finding that communicative sweet spot. Using shorter sentences, maybe ditching the really confusing idioms. Just being a little more mindful of not running your words together too much, especially if you're talking to a beginner. It's all about being clear without sounding like a robot, and just bridging that gap for everyone in the conversation. So the next time you listen to American English, I want you to try something. Don't just listen for words. Listen for the beat. Listen for the melody. Listen for all those little shortcuts. Because language really is music. And now that you know the rhythm of the song, what new details are you going to hear?